Tonight, dangerous drives.
Riding each other's bumpers, they're trying to pass unsafely. Listen, if you want to end up in a ditch or become involved in a crash, that's a good way to do that.
In winter's unstoppable wrath.
Look around, make sure your windshield and your roof is ice or snow free.
And the elusive search.
Yeah, there's just nothing to be had.
For help, getting some traction. Courthouse security.
We do fund and support one of the largest courthouses in the province of Ontario each and every day.
The incidents that have the local police board calling out the costs.
We have to provide it whether the provincial funding's there or not.
Of keeping things safe. Plus,
he kept these cards since 1988 in a safety deposit box.
A century-old card collection.
He was waiting for the 100-year anniversary, and here it is now.
With a rare gem.
Very rare, yeah. You don't see discoveries like this very often.
How these pieces of hockey history have ended up at an auction house in New Hamburg. Another day of warnings, harsh winter weather, and declarations of snow events. Tonight, the slick conditions on the roads and the additional snow that's expected through tonight. Good evening. There has been little relief from this stretch of extreme cold and heavy snow. That's prompting strong messages from police when it comes to driving in this winter mess. CTV's Spencer Turcotte begins our coverage with an expert on keeping safe on the roads.
There's some ice.
Before driving lessons even begin, Young Drivers of Canada instructor Keith Chin tells his students a circle check is a must, especially when there is snow and ice buildup.
Look around, make sure your windshield and your roof is ice or snow free.
This year's weather has made things extra tricky.
We've been getting a lot of cancellations of road tests, which is a disappointment for a lot of students because they want to get their license before the spring.
When snow and freezing rain starts to fall, there is one thing that Keith keeps at the top of his list to remind students of.
Well, we need to slow our speed down, and I would say much lower, like 5 to 10 kilometers lower. Again, it depends on the road conditions.
He also emphasizes the importance of a safe following distance in slick conditions because the time it takes for your vehicle to stop increases.
We try to keep at least a 3 to 4 second distance from the car in front of us, especially when we're coming into an intersection when we're slowing down.
I'm going to leave some distance or space.
It's something OPP Sergeant Ed Sanchuk said drivers were not doing on Wednesday as roads began getting messy.
People, too, are, again, riding each other's bumpers. They're trying to pass unsafely. Listen, if you want to end up in a ditch or become involved in a crash, that's a good way to do that.
He didn't mince words as he explained the factors contributing to crashes across southern Ontario, echoing some defensive driving tips, such as if your vehicle starts to slide.
Take your foot off that gas pedal, steer yourself out of that slide, and just take your time. Don't stare at the ditch. Don't stare at anywhere else except where you want to go.
He adds it's also a great idea to pack an emergency kit in the event you break down, crash, or have to pull over until conditions improve. Both police and Young Drivers of Canada hitting home the point that it's better to take your time in order to get to your destination safely rather than not get there at all. Spencer Turcotte, CTV News Kitchener.
The snow and ice keep coming, but the salt and the ice melter have been hard to find, with a shortage of salt coming from Ontario's mines. Roads, sidewalks, and parking lots may be getting a little more slippery. CTV's Jeff Pickle has been looking into this for us. Jeff, it remains pretty difficult to find salt or even ice melter.
Yeah, Tony, and we've heard from the municipalities, from the cities, even from independent contractors that salt is very hard to find. And if you head down to your local hardware store, also at the retail level, salt and ice melter there, as fast as it comes in, it's heading back out. And when it comes to those frigid temperatures that we're experiencing, some products work better than others.
For traction, at least, it's good. Doesn't do a whole bunch, although it's got salt in it, doesn't do a whole bunch at melting the snow or ice.
As temperatures plummet in southwestern Ontario, a good ice melter is hard to find.
Yeah, there's just nothing to be had. Yeah. I got in today on my truck. A bunch. It won't last.
At Bowman's Home Hardware in Cambridge, they are completely out of road salt, and supplies of ice melter and traction material are limited.
I've got Traction Aid Lava Grip here. I also put out a couple bags of kitty litter just for those folks who might want to have some. This is the 50-50 mix, salt and sand.
According to Bowman, even if they did have salt, it wouldn't do much in these frigid temperatures.
So ice melter is effective from about -25 to -30 C. Salt actually really doesn't work much beyond -10. So salt is effective at being relatively cheap, not great for the environment. And the ice melter is usually better because it actually won't hurt your lawns.
With a salt shortage affecting every level of the supply chain, sand is now in higher demand.
But people find it's a tad bit messy, and they don't really want to track it in the house that much. But when there's no alternative, you know what? It's great stuff.
While ice melter is more effective and generally better for the environment and pets, it does cost about twice as much as salt.
Typically, your salt, you're often about, if a 20-kilo bag was about $10, give or take, an ice melter is typically 20 to 22.
And so while we were discussing different ice melting techniques today, someone mentioned that beet juice is sometimes used, so I went out and bought a few cans of beets. Couldn't find the actual juice, so I had to buy the cans to see if that worked. And then I did a little bit more research and found out that it's actually used more as an additive with salt, so not just the beet juice. So it was a little bit of a miss by me, but the good news is now at least I have 3 cans of beets to take home with me.
Well, lots of iron. Okay, Jeff, thank you. CTV's Jeff Pickle joining us live. Okay, time for our first check now on weather conditions as we head over to Ashley Bacon in studio with more. You know, Jeff was also mentioning about those really cold temps. That's what's on the way this weekend. Yes. We're actually getting a bit of a reprieve in the temperature department at the moment.
You've got it, Tony. Enjoy it while you can, but maybe get those beets and that salt melter, or in all the salt and all the ice melter you can, because we are on our way for a really big nosedive in temperatures. But let's talk about what's happening right now. Luckily for us in Kitchener, we don't have any more watches or warnings. However, there is still a snow squall warning I want to tell you about. That's still up in Tobermory areas north of Lions Head. You're still going to expect 10 to 20 centimeters of snow over the next day or so, 40 to 60 kilometer-an-hour wind gusts. So that is continuing to plague that area. Here, though, right now we're sitting at -3, which is quite warm compared to what we've felt over the last few weeks. -3 is our normal daytime high for this time of year. It feels colder, about -11 with the wind chill. That's going to continue to dip, but I'll get into that a little later. Right now, south by southwest winds at 26 kilometers an hour, Tony. So not too bad. As you said, conditions are looking to change a little closer to the weekend, but we'll get into that a little later in the show.
Okay, Ash, thank you very much. Waterloo Regional Police are appealing to the province for more funding to help cover the cost of security at courthouses. They say last year the province reduced the grant money that was given locally while also increasing expectations. CTV's Krista Simpson joins us now live with this story. Krista.
Tony, this all comes as police say there were a few incidents in the region last year that highlighted the need for more security at courthouses. Waterloo Regional Police are responsible for security at the Waterloo Region Courthouse on Frederick Street in downtown Kitchener, as well as the Provincial Offences Courthouse around the corner, something the service says will cost about $10.3 million this year.
We do fund and support one of the largest courthouses in the province of Ontario each and every day.
These images are from a tour CTV News had of the Waterloo Region Courthouse before it opened in 2013. The provincial government provides funding for court security and prisoner transportation. Last year, regional police received $4.7 million, about $600,000 less than the year before, and covering less than half of the projected costs for 2026. Also last year, the province asked police services to enhance measures at courthouses, including more screening when people come in and security on every floor.
We don't have a choice of providing the level of services and protection and oversight at the courthouse We have to provide it whether the provincial funding's there or not.
Regional police say over the past several months, there have been 3 bomb threats at the courthouse, all of which proved unfounded. There were also 2 incidents in July where accused people broke the glass in the prisoner's box. One even managed to scale the box and ran at the justice before being subdued. In the 2026 budget, WRPS factored in 2 new sworn officers, plus 5 new special constables dedicated to court security, an added cost of about $2 million. The Police Service Board voted unanimously to send a letter to the Deputy Solicitor General, asking that the court security funding allocated to WRPS be reviewed.
We're hoping that through partnership with the province and the funding mechanisms that come to our region, that there can be some reconciliation with the funds that are currently through the operating budget that the board has supported, and that we can find some more predictability within this calendar year, but also for future years in planning.
The Ontario Association of Chiefs of Police has also been asking the province to commit to a funding model for court security that includes a base level that police services can count on. We reached out to the Solicitor General's office today to see if they have any comment at this stage, but did not hear back. Tony.
All right, Krista, thank you. CTV's Krista Simpson reporting. He was just 7 years old when he was struck and killed by a city bus in Hamilton back in December. Today, his grieving parents spoke out at Queen's Park, saying they believe if their son's school had adequate staffing, he would have been in class on the day he died and still alive today. CTV's Allison Hurst explains.
Remembered for his big smile that could melt the world, 7-year-old Max Simau's parents say his death could have been prevented.
He should have been in school.
He wasn't there because he'd been switched to a modified schedule due to a lack of special needs resources in October. Max Simau had autism and was nonverbal. On his way home from school with his mom on December 11th, he was struck and killed by a city bus.
We feel robbed and cheated out of a future with Max. We are so heartbroken and mad. He should still be here with us and should have had a chance to celebrate Christmas that he was so excited about.
According to the Ontario Autism Coalition, more than 25% of students with special needs in Ontario are not attending school for full days.
There are approximately 358,000 disabled students attending Ontario schools, which means that well over 115,000 students are experiencing exclusions.
The organization has been calling on the government to ensure kids with special needs get full days for years.
Exclusions definitely existed prior to 2018, but not to this level. It is at a crisis level now.
For Chris and Emily Simau, the change to their son's school hours had a big impact.
I had to reduce my hours at work.
The Premier was asked about this at a news conference this morning.
It's continuous improvement, but we're funding more than any government in the history of our province, and we're going to continue to fund it.
I mean, look at the size of this government's budget. And they can't make sure that every child can go to school.
A feeling shared by the family.
My son's dead, so they're not doing enough. And they've had, like I said, 8 years, like my son was only 7.
To honor their son, the Simau's had his name tattooed in his writing along with his handprints.
Now myself and Emily will never have the chance to hear his sweet voice maybe one day say, "I love you, Mom or Dad," or feel his hugs he gave to show his love.
A pain that will never go away. Allison Hurst, CTV News.
U.S. President Donald Trump has announced a framework for a deal on Greenland. It comes after he gave a wide-ranging address to the World Economic Forum in Switzerland this morning. Trump says the arrangement gets him everything he wanted. CTV's Joy Malbin tells us what we know about the deal.
The U.S. president arrived by helicopter, appearing before business and world leaders stepping up his demand to own Greenland.
So we want a piece of ice for world protection, and they won't give it.
The president falsely claimed the U.S. owned the island, defending it from the Nazis during the war. It's Danish territory, but Trump wants it back. And now he's backing off his threat to seize the Arctic island using U.S. military might.
We probably won't get anything unless I decide to use excessive strength and force where we would be, frankly, unstoppable. But I won't do that. Okay? Now everyone's saying, oh, good.
That hasn't stopped Donald Trump's Greenland ambitions, calling for immediate negotiations with NATO allies to annex the island. He threatened tariffs.
We have no interest in picking a fight, but we will hold our ground.
The European Union hit back, suspending ratification of a massive trade deal with the United States. But after discussions with NATO Secretary Mark Rutte coming to Donald Trump's defense.
And when it comes to the Arctic, I think President Trump is right. Other leaders in NATO are right. We need to defend the Arctic.
Everyone looking for an off-ramp to this crisis. Donald Trump posting on social media he won't impose tariffs now on European nations, reaching a deal, he says, with NATO. We have formed the framework of a future deal with respect to Greenland and, in fact, the entire Arctic region. The solution will be a great one for the United States of America and all NATO nations.
It's the ultimate long-term deal, and I think it puts everybody in a really good position, especially as it pertains to security and minerals and everything else.
Trump doesn't say if the U.S. will own Greenland, and no one knows what this deal means. But after being pushed to the brink, a sigh of relief.
The deal here is that the United States can build up our military forces on Greenland, and there's a 1951 agreement between the United States and Denmark that prohibits it and permits it and welcomes it. That might be the off-ramp.
So from the brink of a potential military invasion to a possible trade war with Europe, some say Trump may have miscalculated. Others say there's now a future security deal in the Arctic that reassures this president. Joy Malbin, CTV News, Washington.
The Prime Minister was heading home when the U.S. President was calling him out at the forum, chastising him today for yesterday's speech. Trump saying, quote, "Remember that, Mark," and "Canada lives because of the United States." CTV's Mike LeCouture now has more on Trump's comments in response to Mark Carney's speech.
I watched your Prime Minister yesterday. He wasn't so grateful.
The U.S. president with some tough talk for Prime Minister Mark Carney. It comes a day after the Canadian leader spoke in the same room at the World Economic Forum, criticizing superpowers that use tariffs as leverage.
But they should be grateful to us. Canada lives because of the United States. Remember that, Mark, the next time you make your statements.
Donald Trump didn't say which statements, but Carney's speech urged middle power countries to act together.
When we only negotiate bilaterally with a hegemon, we negotiate from weakness.
Trump also said Canada gets a lot of freebies from the U.S., but it's unclear what he was talking about. Some Democrats say the comments about our country are unfair.
Canadians have followed us into every major conflict we've been in, whether we were right or wrong. This president has so disrespected them that they're now talking to China.
Carney wrapped up his trade trip to China and Qatar with a stop in Davos, but he didn't have anything to say about Trump's speech. In a statement, the Prime Minister's office told CTV News there are no plans to comment on the president's speech. The two leaders also didn't have any interaction while in Davos, which could be a good thing, according to this former special advisor on Canada-U.S. relations to then Prime Minister Justin Trudeau.
Canada will be well served to have a more dedicated, specific conversation with the president or his team in the coming weeks and months, especially on the topic of CUSMA as we head towards a review deadline.
And there's little time to waste, as that deadline to decide what happens next with the trilateral trade agreement is July 1st. Mike LeCouture, CTV News, Ottawa.
A Guelph area mother is pushing for road improvements in an area where there have been a series of crashes, including one that she and her children were involved in. Coming up, the temporary and permanent changes she's calling for along this stretch of rural road.
Around 2 to 4 centimeters of snow expected overnight, but the good news is above seasonal temperatures will continue. But for how long? I'll have those details with your full weather forecast a little later in the show.
Download the CTV News app and stay on top of local stories as they unfold.
We go to a dramatic scene unfolding.
Customize your feed and watch live wherever you are. CTVKitchener.ca, your home for news.
A Guelph area resident is demanding immediate changes to a rural intersection she calls dangerously unpredictable. She was injured there in a crash before Christmas while traveling with her children. CTV's Hannah Schmidt has more on her push to the province for action.
It's a recipe for collisions and for unsafe conditions.
Shauna Percy Jurchuk drives through this intersection almost every day. One she says has a history of serious crashes.
We've been here less than 2 years, and it didn't take us long to realize how notorious that specific intersection is.
On December 18th, Percy Jurchuk and her children were in a sedan that was T-boned at Highway 6 and Wellington Road 22. She's still healing from her injuries.
It's been really hard. I'm concussed. My kids everybody's injured. So it's going to be a bit of a recovery.
The most recent crash was on December 25th, but back in the summer.
Within 24 hours, there were 3 collisions that happened at 3 separate times at that intersection.
Percy Jurchuk has launched an online petition which has already gained more than 5,500 signatures.
Some of the things that we're calling for is lowering the speed going into the valley. The left-hand lane is used by people as a passing lane, but it's also a left turn lane, and it has no markings on the ground. It's not designated as being any one thing.
Guelph MPP and Green Party leader Mike Schreiner supports the move.
I am pushing them to look at some interim measures before they make changes, more permanent changes.
The MPP for Wellington Halton Hills called driver safety the province's top priority, saying in part, the Ministry of Transportation has identified a roundabout as the most appropriate long-term solution for this intersection. The Ministry of Transportation tells CTV News preliminary design and environmental assessments are complete. Property acquisition is underway and utilities will be relocated in the coming months. Percy Jurchuk wonders how long drivers are expected to wait for real change.
There's been no timelines, and that's not enough for me. I think people deserve more than that.
Interim measures, including larger stop signs with flashing beacons, have already been installed. Others may not happen until spring.
People are leaving comments about their experiences there of near misses and collisions and fatalities.
For now, Percy Jurchuk is keeping the pressure on until safer roads go from promises to pavement. Officials say construction on a permanent roundabout is scheduled for spring 2026. Hannah Schmidt, CTV News, Guelph, Iramosa.
Winter is only half over, and already the number of snow days has hit double digits in Midwestern Ontario. CTV's Scott Miller has more on how school boards are trying to keep the learning going, even when the snow flies.
As winter weather howls and school buses are canceled day after day, the number of snow days are piling up for students in Grey and Bruce County.
Maybe 14 for some schools with such a vast geographical area. I mean, there are some days where certain areas are impacted more than others, but overall, I think 13 or 14 is probably a fair number.
That is a lot of missed school for students in Grey Bruce, and students in Huron and Perth counties aren't far behind. Pettit says while elementary students are given some suggested tasks or studying ideas, secondary school students in the Blue Water Board are expected to take their missed classes online all day long.
In the past, it was always that no new concepts were being introduced in secondary on snow days, but we're moving away from that practice whereby now if there are multiple snow days in a row, teachers can actually introduce new concepts. So, really keeping in mind that continuity of learning and the importance of that. And also that students join their classes in real time and not just, kind of given some projects in the morning.
Last year, there were 30 snow days for students in Grey Bruce and almost as many in Huron Perth. Semester 1 exams were totally canceled due to last winter's wicked weather.
We're hoping that isn't the case this year, but, we've communicated a plan to our secondary schools that, a schedule that they can follow.
While this week saw most Grey Bruce schools entirely closed due to the weather, every effort is made to keep schools open so students without steady internet can keep pace with snow day learning. In Midwestern Ontario, Scott Miller, CTV News.
Live look outside in Kitchener, where the weather warnings have now lifted, but we could still see some snow building up a little bit tonight. Ashley's going to be back in just a couple of moments to tell us how much more we might be adding and what's going to be happening with the temperatures as we head toward this weekend. Also ahead, hockey history in the cards in New Hamburg. The gems within a century-old collection that were under wraps for decades. And next, a day to put mental health in focus by simply talking. CTV's parent company Bell holds its annual Let's Talk Day, and we will hear from a member of our news team who's going public with a personal story, speaking to the heart of the matter. Ashley's back with our forecast, and just when one chapter of the weather story ends, another begins.
It's all evolving so quickly.
It really is. Silver lining, though, today, those temperatures, a lot more bearable.
Absolutely.
It's just that you had the wind and snow to contend with as well.
You know, it did make for a bit of a messy afternoon on the roads. It wasn't nearly as heavy as we expected it to be, so that's a plus as well. And with that plus, as you mentioned, above seasonal temperatures at some points.
And I even saw the sun peek out very briefly. It was like one of those, you know, when you say the sun is trying to peek out?
Yes.
That's what it felt like today.
Well, at least it's trying.
Yes.
At least it's trying.
It's
the
the
good
effort.
news is we might see some sun on the weekend, but for now we've got to deal with some colder weather. Let's take a look outside this evening. You can see there are still some flurries out and about. We are expecting another 2 to 4 centimeters throughout the night tonight, but nothing to rave home about as we've had so much snow over the last few days. As I mentioned during the 5 o'clock show, I'm sure many viewers at home like myself are wondering, where am I going to put it all? I don't know. I just keep building a pile. Okay, good news is the alerts that we had yesterday for our region have now expired, but there is still one snow squall warning to tell you about. It's still in the area of Tobermory, areas north of Lions Head. You can see another 10 to 20 centimeters overnight, so lots of snow in that area. Looking at our temperatures across the country, starting on the west coast where it's nice and sunny in Vancouver and Victoria, 6 degrees, Tony, 6 degrees. Oh my goodness, I can't wait for our turn in a few weeks, months probably, but let's say weeks. -9 in Edmonton. As we move on over east, we are looking at -31 in Thompson, so very cold conditions. And on our side of the country, -7 in Montreal. Quebec City staying at -9. On the east coast in St. John's, -9 as well. Here at home, we're looking at -3, so that is normal for this time of year, but it does feel a little colder with the wind chill. We're looking at around -10 at the moment. So it is still colder out, but good news is overnight temperatures just dipping to -8. Right now, this time of year is around -12 on normal. So feeling a little bit warmer than we've had over the last few days. Tomorrow, conditions not too bad, -8. We might even see the sun try and peek out a little bit. But here's where things get interesting. The sun is rising at 7:49, setting at 5:18. So we're getting a little bit more daylight. So although it is cold and a little bit miserable out there, at least with some daylight, it makes it feel a little bit better. Back in 2022, -26 was the overnight low, and we might get somewhere close to that on Friday. Look at our 7-day forecast starting in Waterloo region. Now, I want to take some time to really talk about Friday because it is going to be a dangerously cold day. The temperatures only rising to -12. Overnight conditions around -26, so much colder than what we would normally see this time of year. Saturday not faring much better. However, the sun is expected to make an appearance. By Sunday, however, snow is looking like it is back in the forecast. In Lambton, Kent, Essex, similar conditions there. Thursday, you're going to see flurries with a high of -5. Friday, you will see some sunny conditions, a high of -12, but overnight dipping well below seasonal there at -21. A mix of sun and cloud for your Saturday, a high of 14 degrees. Snow returning for Sunday, a high of just 9. And then lastly, in southern Georgian Bay, very similar conditions as well. However, you guys have had so much snow this year. You're going to continue to see flurries basically throughout the week. Temperatures not getting as cold, except for Friday, Tony. That overnight condition across southern Ontario, very, very cold. All right, let's take a look at today's Weather Watcher photo sent in by Paul Richards. He says not everyone is complaining about the frigid temperatures. This neighborhood watchdog is loving it.
He sure is.
He looks so cute.
Look at those eyes.
Yep, he's in a, they're built for the snow.
Certainly are. All right, that sounds good. And if we just get through that cold this weekend, hopefully we've got some relief on the other side.
I mean,
somewhere.
A little bit. At least the sun's coming out potentially on Saturday. I'll take sunny and in cold, no problem.
Yes, the sun makes all the difference.
Absolutely.
Okay. Ash, thank you.
Thank you.
Today is Bell Let's Talk Day. It's Canada's biggest national conversation about mental health. This is the 16th year for the annual event promoting mental health awareness and conversation. This year's theme is taking a moment for mental health, urging people to make self-care a priority and to check in on others. Bell is giving $10 million toward Canadian mental health initiatives, bringing its total Bell Let's Talk investment to $194 million since 2010. And Bell Let's Talk Day has special meaning this year for Caitlin Morrison. She is the sister of actor Matthew Perry, and she is helping to build a new addictions treatment center in honor of her brother who battled addiction for decades. CTV's Pauline Chan has the story.
Being almost 12 years younger than Matthew, Caitlin Morrison barely recalls a time when he wasn't struggling with substances and alcohol.
The first time I ever noticed that he enjoyed imbibing was when I took a sip of what I thought was like an orange smoothie, and it was not just an orange smoothie, and I was like, whoa, there's something in this.
Last fall in Ottawa, where Matthew grew up, and which he was always so proud to call home, a groundbreaking ceremony was held for Matthew Perry House. It will offer up to 170 housing units, plus counseling, therapy, job training, and more.
His feeling was that he would go to a place and he would be there for a month or so, and he would start to feel good, and then he'd go back out into the world, and he felt isolated.
Matthew Perry House will support people who have completed initial addiction treatment but still need long-term support.
What happens when they finish treatment? What happens when they lose the security and structure of a treatment milieu and go back into a situation where maybe they face housing insecurity, food insecurity, income insecurity?
Cara Vaccarino of the Royals says having Matthew Perry House next door will allow for partnership between the two centers.
We are facing an unprecedented housing crisis in Canada, I'm sure you know. And on top of having a shortage of housing stock, affordable housing stock, our patients are further marginalized.
Caitlin Morrison says Matthew Perry House Ottawa won't be completed for a couple of years, but they plan to offer services in the meantime. They also hope to build centres in other Canadian cities, including Toronto. Pauline Chan, CTV News.
Coming up, Premier Ford's call to boycott Chinese electric vehicles and what union leaders had to say today when they joined him. More fallout from the federal deal that's put Ontario's auto workers in the spotlight. Next. The new trade deal between Canada and China covers a wide range of sectors, but Premier Doug Ford has stayed focused on planned rule changes for electric vehicle imports. This morning at Queen's Park, the Premier was joined by stakeholders in the auto industry who echoed his concerns around Ottawa's pledge to slash tariffs on nearly 50,000 Chinese EVs each year.
As long as Canadians want to buy cars and trucks, we want to build them right here in Canada. Auto workers have been on the front lines of this trade war since last February, fighting to protect their jobs, their plants, and their communities. And that's why this China deal is a hard pill for them to swallow right now, because they've seen this movie before, where their jobs end up on the chopping block because of some trade negotiation.
Premier Ford said the deal with China was asking Canadian auto workers to fight on unfair ground against a market giant and without any long-term predictions for their industry's future in this country.
Instead of importing vehicles, we should be making vehicles by Canadian workers, using Canadian steel, respecting Canadian specs and standards, leveraging Canada's supply chain. And if the Chinese are serious about making investments and creating auto jobs here in Canada, then show us proof. Canadian auto workers can't feed their families with hypothetical commitments about investments that might happen 5 years or a decade from now.
The Premier said he would like to see Ottawa consult more with him and other key players. He also called for an end to the federal electric vehicle mandate. All right, time to update our top stories now. CTV's Leanne Evans in studio with all the latest for us. And one of the big things we keep watching this week, those weather warnings, the harsh conditions, the snow events. It's all happening again.
Yeah, we are not seeming to get a break from anything out there winter weather-wise, Tony. It's prompting strong messages from police when it comes to the driving in the winter mess. OPP say it's important to leave space for the vehicle in front of you and take your time. Also of note, have an emergency kit in the event you break down, crash, or have to pull over until conditions improve. And the snow and ice keep coming, but the salt and ice melter is hard to find. Cities, municipalities, and snow clearing contractors all agree salt is in short supply. And with it, effective on every level of the supply chain, sand is now in higher demand. With a shortage of salt coming from the mines in Ontario, roads, sidewalks, and parking lots, you'll likely notice, are getting slipperier, especially as we'll see those temperatures start to drop again.
I was on my way home last night after the Late Show, and I thought, wow, finally a night where the roads are back to normal, and then here we go again today.
Yeah, and you have slippery boots.
I do have slippery boots. That's a lesson.
You got to be careful out there.
That's a lesson for me next time I buy boots for sure, but that's another story for another day. Another one we have online, though, is about a lotto ticket sold not too far from here with a big win.
Yeah, you may want to check your lotto ticket if you bought one for Tuesday night's draw in Brant County. Check your numbers because the winning ticket for that $15 million jackpot was sold somewhere in Brant County. You can read more details online. Scan our QR code, download the CTV News app, or go to ctvnews.kitchener.ca. I wish I took a trip to Brant County on Tuesday.
Oh, not where I bought mine either.
What can you do?
Oh, well.
Next time, Tony.
Yes, next time. There's always next time. Thanks, Leanne.
Thank you.
The Northern Lights have been pretty active recently, and there was another display of nature's wonder early today. A dazzling display caught by an airport camera in western Greenland this morning. The sky was seen illuminated by green lights for at least an hour. The aurora borealis results from solar storms emitting high-speed charged particles colliding with gases in Earth's atmosphere. The Northern Lights usually occur near the Arctic from around September to April. All right, just ahead, speaking out to reduce the stigma about something that many families are living with. It's Bell Let's Talk Day, and we will join CTV's Paul Hollingsworth for a very personal take on the significance of the cause. That's coming up next. Our discussion on mental health continues today. It's Bell Let's Talk Day. And one of the powerful voices in the conversation is CTV National News correspondent Paul Hollingsworth, who has a very personal story that he's been public with. Paul joins us live now from Halifax. Paul, welcome to the program. It's good to see you today.
Good to see you, Tony, and thank you for having me on with you and your viewers.
Well, we know that you have gone public about this story. You were a university student back in 1991 when your brother Bryce died. First of all, tell us a bit about your brother, Paul.
Well, Tony, if you knew him, you would have liked him. He was a good guy. He had a lot of friends, very popular, didn't have any kind of those struggles in life. Athletic, smart, charismatic, way more charisma than I ever had. But in his teen years, there was a darkening in his persona. He started to change before our very eyes, withdraw from friendships, isolate himself, engaged in alcohol and drug abuse, and we watched him in slow motion slip away. We didn't do enough to help because we didn't know what to do. It was a paralyzing situation because we didn't have the tools in our toolbox. And on December 16th, 1991, my 25-year-old brother Bryce took his life just before Christmas. And as I tell people, he's 25 years old forever. I think about him every day, and I certainly think about him on a day like today.
Paul, I know there are so many Canadians who can relate to the feeling you're talking about. You actually wrote a very powerful piece about Bryce's story as well, and said one of the things that you'd wished you'd done is simply talked to him about mental health.
Yeah, and look, I should have talked to him more to tell him how much I cared for him, how much I loved him, how much I looked up to him, how much I wanted to be like him and have him be proud of me. I still talk to him like that on a daily basis in my own way. It's a lesson. I did nothing wrong, but I didn't do enough, and it was a different time. What do you learn from that? You learn that we need to talk and communicate, keep our eyes open to what's happening in our friendship groups, in our families, in our communities. Tony, I've lived in Nova Scotia for all of my 56 years. That terrible tragedy has taught me one thing going forward, one important thing. I have an opportunity, if I do this right, to leave my province better than the way I found it by talking to people every single day, because I didn't talk to my brother enough when he was alive.
Paul, what is your message to anyone who this story may be resonating with?
Well, you're not alone. If you're suffering and you think you're suffering in silence or in the darkness and you have no one there for you, you're wrong. If I can use the analogy of running a marathon, Tony, you go through the finish line, people are lining the sides of the street cheering you on. There are people like you, like me, in our communities who are there for people on a daily basis, and we're there to help. So let people reach out to you if they make connections. And for us, look around the community, look around the room, look around your place of work, and find ways to help, reach out and talk to people. And if you can make the connection, urge them to seek further levels of help. There's plenty of 1-800 numbers and community chat lines and groups and organizations through our healthcare system that are designed to help people to make sure they get the healthy outcomes that they deserve and they don't suffer the same situation that happened to my brother and to my family. It is so important, 365, but especially on Bell Let's Talk Day, to talk about Tony.
Paul, it is always good to talk to you, my friend, but especially today, and in memory of Bryce and in honor of everyone who's affected by mental health struggles. Thank you, Paul, for speaking out and sharing Bryce's story.
You're very kind. Thank you, Tony, and it's good to see you.
And we'll have more news in just a moment. First, let's check in with Ashley.
Well, overnight flurries expected to taper off before your commute to school and work tomorrow. I'll have the look at what you're waking up to after the break. Have a night of entertainment at home with E-Talk at 7, followed by Shifting Gears, then The Masked Singer, and then Fear Factor, A House of Fear, and cap it off at 10 with Shark Tank.
Okay. Leanne is back now with a look at what our team is following for later tonight. Leanne.
Well, Tony, it's Shoot for the Cure night in Guelph. The women's basketball team taking part in the campaign in support of the Canadian Cancer Society. U Sports is aiming to raise $100,000 this year. It's all dedicated to advancing breast cancer research and awareness. Karis Mapp is in the Royal City and will bring us more from the university game tonight at 11:30. Tony.
Leanne, thank you as always. And Ashley's here with a look at our wake-up weather, which I don't know. Is tomorrow going to be the best day of the week, possibly?
I would say today was arguably the best day of the week for temperature. I mean, obviously, we saw a lot of flurry activity around the noon hour. But if we take a look at what we're waking up to tomorrow, Tony, that flurry, the 2 to 4 centimeters, is going to start to taper off by 6 a.m. And then we might see some sunny breaks by 10. So, you know, I will take that over snow any day.
It's crazy when we're talking about the best day of the week being the day that we have the least amount of harsh weather conditions. But that's where we're at.
You got to make the most of it.
And finally for us, this is a cool story, a collection of century-old hockey cards hitting the auction block, including what's considered the holy grail of cards.
So cool. As CTV's Colton Weeds explains, they were destined for the trash, but a Windsor man kept them safe for all these years.
Very rare, yeah. You don't see discoveries like this very often, especially ones that haven't been offered in the hobby. They've sort of stayed in one family for this whole 100 years.
Ben Pernfuss calls it a once-in-a-lifetime find. 51 hockey cards from the 1924-25 Champs Cigarettes hockey set, one of the most desirable Canadian tobacco issues in the hobby, are now up for auction at Miller & Miller.
The main card in this set is the Stanley Cup card, and this is the first time the Stanley Cup was ever featured on a card. 1924, so it's over 100 years old now, and it's considered sort of the rookie card of the Stanley Cup. Some people would throw around the word holy grail for hockey cards in terms of pre-war hockey, but it also includes some pretty incredible names like Howie Morenz, Jack Adams, Hap Day. There's a lot of great names in this set, and people love it.
Produced by the Tobacco Products Corporation of Hamilton in 1924, Pernfuss says they almost never made it to the auction block. As the story goes, Donald Batter from Windsor found the cards in a tobacco box his father had in 1988.
He asked his dad whether he could have them, and his dad said, yes, but I was just about to throw them out. So these cards were destined to be thrown out in 1988.
He convinced his father to let him have them and kept them in a safety deposit box until they reached 100 years old.
Donald wanted the world to see these cards. He'd had them in his family for 100 years, and now is the time to let them go.
Batter's father originally got the cards by trading a similar collection of cards featuring birds of Canada.
They're similar size, same age, but they had birds on them. So he traded a collection of bird tobacco cards for hockey tobacco cards, and it was a good trade.
Well, as a collector, would those birds be worth anything?
They'd be worth about $5 each.
The cards are now up for auction through Miller & Miller, and current bids on the Stanley Cup and Clarence Hap Day cards have already reached $17,000 respectively. The auction closes on Sunday night at 6, and Pernfuss is already impressed with how high the current bids have gone.
I hope to find another one. I don't expect to. I think this might be one of those once-in-a-lifetime finds.
Colton Weens, CTV News, New Hamburg.
I would say priceless, but
wow,
that's the wrong word. Those are going to fetch a pretty penny. Amazing. That's our time. Thanks for watching. We'll see you back here tonight at 11:30, right after the CTV National News. Good night.